When it comes to carrying, it is no question that 9mm round is the best round to carry. However, there is that debate of what round is the best to carry, FMJ or hollow point. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly what is better, the reasons for carrying it, and which one is ultimately better in certain scenarios so you have a better understanding what round you want to use. And this right here, you guys, is an FMJ round, or also known as a full metal jacket. The point of the FMJ round is to achieve maximum velocity for the round as much as possible without putting too much strain on the handgun itself, or just configuring the handgun barrel length or just any of those things to also achieve maximum velocity. And with this, you're going to get extra penetration power because obviously more velocity, more speed, more power, it's going to go through things a lot easier. This is also good for training because it is relatively cheap for 9mm rounds, and you could also use it for self-defense too. However, while it's not ideal, you typically wouldn't want to use this because it does have drawbacks. Because when you take self-defense into account, there's a lot of other factors that come into play, just such as if you're in your house, you're shooting at an intruder. Well, obviously there's walls, and beneath those walls or behind those walls, there's going to be innocent people behind them as well. I mean, there was just a big article or big news outlet where an officer shot at a target and he missed a couple of shots where it unfortunately shot and killed a little girl. And that just goes to show how deadly FMJ round can be. So just summing up the pros, it's cheap, it's very easy to use, there's not a lot of knowledge behind it, which makes it very easy to train with as well. Or if someone's trying to harm you, is trying to shoot at you behind a wall, well, these can go through those walls just as well. But then on the other hand, you have what's called a hollow point. Now, hollow points are going to have like this little divot in the middle, and what that does is upon entering or going through an object or person, these things will expand, almost like a flower blossoming. And what this does is it ultimately slows down the velocity of the round, which does lessen the penetration power of the round itself. And the hollow point is the best ideal round to have solely because at the end of the day, no matter how much you train, no matter how much you shoot rounds or get out the range, in a life or death situation, you're most likely going to miss some of those shots. And you're responsible for every single shot that you shoot. Meaning when you miss, bullet's gonna go somewhere, and if it hits a wall or car, you don't want that thing to keep going. You're gonna want it to stop as soon as it can. This ultimately decreases its penetration power, and this can ultimately protect people who get caught up in the crossfire. Now, although a hollow point can be way more expensive than the FMJ round, the hollow point is also very preferred because it's able to stop a threat much more quickly than the FMJ. Because since the hollow point expands, it takes up a larger surface area when entering a person's body, well, that's gonna create more blood loss of blood pressure, and ultimately the whole point is to eliminate threat as quickly as possible. So ultimately the question is, what is the best type of 9mm you should carry? Is it hollow point or FMJ? And here's what I would do if I'm starting to conceal carry for my own self-protection and others. And although this is going to cost quite a bit of money up front, you're going to have to start with FMJ round. The reason why I say start with FMJ rounds is because when you go to a shooting range, you want to make sure that your gun can actually shoot these rounds. The last thing you're going to want to do is shoot an FMJ round and thinking, okay, your hollow point is just going to automatically work. Like, it's a different type of cartridge. You can't expect it to act the same way that an FMJ would. So you want to make sure that when you take your gun to the range, that you shoot with the FMJ round and then you shoot with your hollow point to make sure that's reliable in your handgun. And then after this, if you're training or just shooting at a range, solely just use FMJ rounds. There's honestly no point in using hollow points if you're not going to use them to carry with. And then once you're carrying out and about, whether it's a grocery store, home, wherever, I would just solely carry hollow point just for the fact that it's the best self-defense round that you could carry, especially if you're in a large crowd, minimal crowd, even by yourself. You just never know. So although one round isn't specifically better than the other, each one is better in its own specific scenario. Another thing about the hollow point is sometimes it could run a little unreliable in certain handguns with certain types of ammo. So that's why you really want to make sure that you test it out of range when you can. Whereas FMJ, it pretty much works with any type of handgun. And again, guys, you guys might see some myths out there like an FMJ is better because it could penetrate more. That's not always the case. And there's even some myths out there that hollow points explode on impact, which is definitely not the case as well. Also, you want to make sure you do your own type of research on what type of defense carry round that you want to use, because there's going to be a lot of myths out there. There's going to be a lot of misinformation out there. You want to make sure that you do your own research as well. But at the end of the day, 9mm is the best round in general. But when you take into account whether FMJ or hollow point's got to take the cake in that regard of self-defense. But with that said, guys, let me know what you guys think. Do you carry with FMJ? Do you carry with hollow point? Am I right or are you wrong? Did I say that right? Am I right or am I wrong? You let me know down in the comments below. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. I didn't say that in my last one, but I'm saying it here, so make sure you do that.